I hope he makes it. I hope there's no lunatics out here this time.
Yeah, I think we don't want to find any lunatics out here today.
Right.
The other question I want to ask is Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is the vice presidential running mate on the Democratic side, and J.D. Vance, senator from Ohio, on the Republican side. Which one of the two of them do you think wants to protect our personal freedoms more?
I'd say, honestly, Vance, just because he's supporting Trump, and, I've heard about him before, and I trust his beliefs more than the other one, so.
And you, ma'am?
I would say neither. I think they both vote for policies that don't protect the privacy of Americans.
Is that an important issue for you?
I think it should be for everyone. I think we should have privacy.
You got Tampon Tim. Where'd this guy come from? So it's just a bunch of lies.
What do you mean by that, like with Governor Walz?
We get a lot of liars. You don't mess around with the service like that, talk lies about service, going into service. He never did.
He was in the service for a long time, right?
Yeah, but he didn't go over and fight a war. He didn't go over Afghanistan. He said he did, and he didn't. I don't like what he stands for. They don't like what he did to his home state. But they picked him because he's an easy target. He's a muppet, muppet, just like, hand puppet like Camellia is. They don't belong in there. Everybody knows that. They're just placed there. Everybody knows that.
What does that mean? I'm serious. I don't know what you mean by they're just placed. I hadn't heard that before.
All the elites are running the show. We got Zuckerman. You got George Soros. They got lots of money, these guys.
But Donald Trump has a lot of money too, right?
A lot of money, but his money is legal. He didn't come from all these elites. He's doing it himself. In fact, they're trying to keep suing him to get that money, which Donald Trump made it, maybe through Wall Street and stuff like that. But these other guys made it through taxes and raising stuff and all that Ukraine BS going on. That's just money getting handed to them, but it comes to us, man. That's we gotta get back in check, man.
And I think that Donald Trump has proven himself as commander-in-chief, whereas Tim Walz, another socialist, far left, has stolen valor. He retired as a master sergeant, E8, but he was in a temporary command sergeant major position for 45 days in the National Guard, and he never wore the stripes, and he made a commensurate coin saying he was the highest ranking enlisted member in Congress, and he was not.
I want to meet Trump, the greatest president alive. I hope he makes it. I hope there's no lunatics out here this time.
Yeah, I think we don't want to find any lunatics out here today.
Right.
What issue is it most important to you in this election?
Getting inflation down, building up the middle class, making it easier for people like my age to be able to buy a home one day and have a good life, not have to struggle.
Vice President Harris has made building up the middle class a centerpiece of her campaign. What is it about her argument that makes you choose somebody else?
Are y'all for Trump or for Kamala?
What's your name?
I'm Joseph Trabata.
So, Joseph, I was just wondering whether you think that Vice President Harris, who has made a centerpiece of her campaign to build up the middle class, yet you think that Trump would be a better choice. If building up the middle class is an important issue to you, why choosing the former president rather than the vice president?
Looking forward, tax cuts. I think that at the end of the day, that's gonna bring more incentive to work harder, and it's gonna bring the middle class up, which is mostly the blue-collar workers, the people out in the field working all day, the invisible workers, and they're the ones that are working all overtime.
Trump wants to have tax breaks for corporations and for the wealthiest Americans. The vice president, as part of her platform, wants to cut taxes for working people and raise the minimum wage. Does that impact your vote at all?
I don't agree with tax cuts on the big corporations, but
that's a centerpiece of former President Trump's agenda, right?
I say, probably not the best person to ask on this subject, to be honest.
It's a tighter race than it was when President Biden was the opponent. What makes you remain optimistic?
Well, I think we've witnessed some miracles, especially July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania. what does not kill him makes him stronger. I think angels protect him. I think Donald Trump, I really believe this, not being hyperbolic, I believe Donald Trump was sent by God to preserve Abraham Lincoln's promise that a government of the people, by the people, and for the people will not perish.
That aside, he's still got to stand for election here. And what makes you optimistic, with polls tightening in some of the battleground states and the practicalities of American politics, what makes you optimistic?
Remember the polls on Election Day of 2016? I could quote you. The New York Times said 91% chance Hillary's going to win. It was all the national polls combined. They predicted if Donald Trump was lucky, he'd win 3 states. When I was in college, I do have a master's degree too. Well, almost. I kind of quit before I got it. But when I took a statistics course, the first...
So it's like concepts of a master's degree, right?
Well, I'm saying the first thing my professor said in statistics was that any statistics could be manipulated to reveal the desired result.